as investors grow worried about a possible Democrat sweep in tomorrow's 2 Senate races in Georgia. Oppenheimer warning that stocks could fall 10% if Democrats win both Georgia runoffs. Agora financial market strategist Alan Nuckman and former Dallas Fed advisor Danielle DiMartino Booth here to tell us more about all this. Alan, first to you, the Oppenheimer report that we could see a 10% correction if, in fact, Democrats sweep tomorrow. I guess what's happening today is a lot of investors are figuring, well, better to take a 2% loss today and eat it if, in fact, we're wrong about the Democrats winning tomorrow, because if they do win, that's a 10% correction.
We'll have to see. I think that's a little bit negative. Optimism wins, in my opinion. We've been through a lot. Let's talk about the last decade. And even the last 2 months, the S&P rallied 10%. So a 2% pullback after making new all-time forever highs. I look at things on a weekly basis. A new high was made here this morning, so that's a positive. Let's see what happens from here. But I'm looking at this as a profit-taking pullback as it stands right now. And let's remember, the market went straight up from 2009 to 2016 under a previous administration. So it hasn't been totally negative when Democrats are in power.
Well, and Danielle, you have to keep in mind where we are. We're about to have this unbelievable worldwide bounce back from lockdowns because of the vaccines. We got at least 4 or 5 of those vaccines. We also have some from China, some from Russia. I frankly wouldn't take one of those. But the point is that we're going to have probably the biggest worldwide economic bounce back since the end of World War II. That, despite any kind of bad economic policies from the Biden administration, would overwhelm any of the negatives, no?
Well, one would hope that would be the case. It's just you have to bear in mind that starting points matter. We entered the year with the S&P 500, which is having its worst day since October, in the 99th historical percentile valuations and data going back to 1881. So the idea was coming into trading today that any little thing that went wrong could throw off the market to a great degree, again, given how richly valued stocks are. I think what really spooked markets this morning is that people on trading floors don't really follow polls very closely per se, but they do follow predicted, which can be influenced. But again, it's the closest thing I think Wall Street traders have to a trustworthy poll, and that is before President Trump's taped remarks were made public yesterday, there was 60% probability that the Senate would stay in the hands of the GOP. Traders woke this morning to that having fallen to 52%, and that is really enough to have spooked the markets. Again, we're talking about capital gains taxes here, corporate tax rates going up. These things eat into margins. And again, as I said, when you're perfectly priced to perfection, even knowing that vaccine is out there over the horizon, the littlest disruption can cause markets to teeter, as we're seeing today.
And if you're looking for some indicator that there is a fear factor going on in the trades today, just look at gold. It is up almost 3% at one point. I don't know what it is exactly now. Maybe we can get it up on the screen. But a lot of flight to gold right now. How far up is gold going to go in your mind?
Well, I'm looking for gold to recover here. It had been in a range for the longest period of time, trading sideways between 1850 and 2050, and now it's getting some momentum. Now, it had become disconnected from everything.
Right.
The dollar made 2-year lows, and that was not supporting gold. I think a better indicator of what's happening, or really what I don't think a whole lot is happening, is the VIX. Janelle talked about the concerns. The VIX is sitting at 26 right now. Been trading between 20 and 40 for 8 months, going nowhere. And so even that measure of concern is still just moderately higher right now. I'm a price guy. And let's remember the VIX in January of 2020 was down at 11. So there's a lot more downside in the VIX, a lot more upside in the stock market.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at 4,000 from a technical target in that S&P on the upside. This is a flip right now.
I want to get Danielle in very quickly. Danielle, we don't have much time, but the Fed, of course, says that they're going to keep rates low. But if the world does come back with a vengeance, which it probably will after the lockdowns, will we see an uptick in inflation? And might that discourage the Fed from keeping to its promise of keeping rates low?
Well, that is certainly something else, David, to your point that you're seeing reflected in trading today. The specter of inflation, if there is a blue wave, rises appreciably, and I mean overnight. And remember, those Fed facilities that were closed down by Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin, they have to be reopened inside of a new Congress with a new reason. Thank you, Pat Toomey, for that. So again, a lot of nervousness. A lot of it comes down to whether the Fed finally gets that inflation they've been asking for, and this time they might not want it.
Well, I haven't been asking for it, for one, but I know, Alan, you want to jump in, but we've run out of time. Thank you both. Good to see you.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year to
Exactly.
you, too.
Yes. Happy New Year.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, early voting suggesting an edge for Democrats in Georgia, so are